What's up, you? For today's video, with a mono bug team. Holy smokes, this team was difficult. So I'm going to show you on the screen right now all the Pokemon that are mono bug. When I say mono bug, I just mean bug type. I don't mean a secondary type there. So that was it. That's all the Pokemon I could use, and I picked the 6 best I could from this team. Hopefully, as this video goes on, you guys will appreciate how long this actually took me to get battles with this team. I had people using Stealth Rocks turn 1 when they had Fire, Rock, Flying, Field Pokemon teams. Like, it was absolutely insane. Alright, let's get on to it. What is your favorite bug Pokemon of all time? Put it in the comment section below. Let me know all about it. And if you want to support the channel, hit that like button. Like, give me a sympathy like for this video, people. Like, this was a difficult one. Alright, first battle here. I actually got a good lead with Deoxys speed. And Spidops did a pretty good job there getting rid of that. I'm going to be swapping into Kricketune now. And, I mean, what could have I possibly swapped into there, right? So that is the end of Kricketune. Kottmeistern is going to torch it. Now, usually in the past with these mono teams that I've done so far, I've made them all have only the Terra, so that they have. So in this case, I'd give them all Terra Bug. It was just far too difficult to get good quality battles there with only having bugs. So I changed up my Terras a little bit, and I actually got a couple of really good battles. So that's the only reason I sort of went a little bit different than what I normally do. Kottmeistern's going to get taken out by a Pineco, only on PIMPNITE channel there. We've got this Pineco. It's a Stealth Rock, Counter, Explosion, and Toxic Spike set. I really did consider going for the Explosion here, but I thought it's going to be better if I go for Toxic Spikes, because there's a Pokemon on their team that's really good against this team, but there was a lot of Pokemon that were really good against this team, so that's not really saying anything, but you'll get to see. So Deoxys normal is going to slide in here. It's going to finish my Pineco off with an Ice Punch. I had Nimble here as my other mono bug Pokemon, Baby, and that is going to drop Deoxys in one shot. So 2 Deoxys so far. Let me tell you some of these movesets here. So with the Nimble, that was Max Attack and Max Speed, Lonely Nature. And this was Focus Sash and Swarm. Leech Life, Sucker Punch, First Impression, and Counter. Pineco was Max Attack and Max Speed, Lonely Nature as well. Custard Berry and Sturdy Ability combination. And Terra Normal. Going into Volbeat now. Now, I'm going to say this, like, Volbeat and Kricketune were my best hope at sweeping on this team. And I had to sack them both in this battle. That's how bad of matchups I had here, apart from, of course, the Deoxys. So Miraidon and Kottmeistern were more than enough to challenge this team here, and I had to see if I could figure out getting around it. The answer, though, was Illumise, right? Now, this Illumise is a pure, it's a pure Stally sort of set, and I wanted to also try and pass on substitutes. So this is a Prankster Illumise, and it has got Baton Pass, Sub, Thunder Wave, and Moonlight. Item's going to be Rocky Helmet. I thought that would be good for any, contacting moves. And I had Terra-type Fairy. 252 in health, 164 in defense, and 84 in special defense with Impish Nature. So very well-rounded bulk there. So the great thing about this was I was getting damage on Miraidon with the Toxic, right? And I could outspeed it due to the Prankster ability. I could also try and outstall that electric terrain as well, but I wasn't very, maybe Illumise at full health had a reasonable chance of living that, but that was about it. Eventually, my random opponent swapped out there. They obviously could see what I was trying to do, and they have another Deoxys, so they got all the Deoxys here. Well, most of them. We had Speed Normal and Deoxys D. Now, Deoxys D is going to be a lot thicker than the other Deoxys that I took out earlier on with First Impression. So I'm going to throw up the sub to get the dub there. Deoxys is going to be Poison, which is going to be very useful here. So I've got Baton Pass, and I've also got Moonlight as well. I thought, well, Moonlight will be great because that gives me more opportunities to go for the substitute against that, that Miraidon. So really all I've got is a Spidops, a Nimble, and an Illumise with no attacking moves. So it ain't looking too good here, but I had some pretty cool stratch that I felt like I could maybe get to it. So Deoxys is going to go for a Fire Punch here. I don't know how it uses Fire Punch. It's got like spaghetti arms, so I don't know, it sort of flops its arms around there. I'm trying to think what my favorite bug Pokemon of all time. It should be Flygon, dragon and bug. It should be a dragon and bug. Anyway, I'm going to go for a Moonlight here, and I'm just going to heal myself up. I want to see how much Deoxys actually does, plus I thought I'll get some Rocky Helmet damage. That'll be quite handy. So Deoxys now is down to, well below like half of its health, which is really, really good. I easily now can bring in one of my other Pokemon. I thought, well, Spidops with First Impression will be good. I'll be able to tank this, and I've still got that Nimble in the back too with Focus Sash. So going into the GOAT Spidops here, the greatest Pokemon of all time, and Deoxys uses Recover. I'm like, no! So it's got all of its health back there, pretty much. This Spidops set was a red card set. Stakeout ability, Sticky Web, Circle Throw, which worked pretty well with the rest of my team, Sucker Punch, and First Impression. So I got a fat First Impression off, but Deoxys had counter. You wouldn't read about it. So good play to my opponent there. I didn't see that one coming. And that's like a PIMPNITE special, counter on Deoxys D with the Focus Sash. Anyway, Deoxys D is going to faint there. I was laughing for a good minute after. That was very funny. Next Pokemon is Deoxys again. So we've got all the Deoxys on this team plus Miraidon and Koraidon, right? It's a match made in heaven for Nimble, right? So Nimble's going to slide in here. Now, even if this had like Focus Sash or Extreme Speed, I was good, right? So I had First Impression, I had Sucker Punch as well. So First Impression is going to drop Deoxys easy. Like, that's the thing about Deoxys. It's got great offensive stats, but its defense is like garbage. Last Pokemon is the Miraidon we seen earlier on, which they did swap out. Now, the only way I was thinking they could heal up here was to have Parabolic Charge, and that was about it. But I feel like they would have used that already. So I'm thinking to myself here, well, I've got Terra Bug, and I'm gonna do it right. We got the Terra Bug. So I've got Terra Bug Swarm on this Nimble. So obviously with Swarm, at a third of a health, less of your health, right? You'll get a 1.5 times boost on bug type moves. And I thought I may as well go for it. Let's see how much damage it does, right? So obviously I'm going to get taken down to my Sash with the Miraidon. And now I'm going to go for Terra Bug. So I thought I've got Terra Bug, and I've also got Sucker Punch to back it up there. Here comes a fat Leech Life. That's really, really, really good damage, right? And I got lots of health back. But then I thought, wait, Electro Drift is going to be a contacting move. So what I'll do, right, I'll swap Nimble out and go into the GOAT Illumise, and then Illumise's Rocky Helmet will faint her, right? Then I'll still have Nimble left. But unfortunately, they went for Overheat. I'm like, no. But so Illumise is going to faint there. Unfortunately, Overheat is not a contacting move by any stretch of the imagination. So Illumise's family tree, well, they got incinerated. However, Miraidon's health was only on like 2, and it's going to faint to a Toxic Spikes. What a crazy battle there. It was a really, really cool battle. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Thank you to my random opponent, Moritz, I think it was. Now, I actually battled them later on, too. I was doing a battling session. We battled again later on with a different team. All right, battle number 2 here. Let's get some likes on the video, people. And also, what mono team would you like to see me do next? I've done, the last one before this was Flying, right? Now I'm doing, I think Bug's going to be the hardest. Maybe Ice next. I don't know. What would you like to see? All right, this is another random battle here. We have an Axu lead. And it tried to use it tried the PIMPNITE special, right, with Guillotine, but I had Sturdy, right, so that was awesome. So I set up the Stealth Rocks, I slid into Spidops for a fat W, and then it uses Giga Impact. Now, Giga Impact didn't do a lot to Spidops because, it is an Axu, plus this Spidops, I had max health investment, right? Also, my item came into effect too, being the red card. So in comes Zapdos. Now, Zapdos was a problem. Basically, Stealth Rocks, any flying Pokemon, any rock moves, fire move, like there was so many counters to this team. Like, as I said before, I had like people sweating it out turn 1, setting up Stealth Rocks. And like they did like, and they already had like loads of like counters on their team, setting up 3-store dances against like Nimble and stuff like that, spamming Rock Slide, you know, pressing the A button 6 times. Like it was crazy. Like homies thought it was like, you know, MLG VGC championships playing for sheep stations. Anyway, so they had a Zap Cannon Zapdos, which is, how did they land 2 in a row? Anyway, so that's it. I was laughing at that too. That's the end of my Spidops. He got absolutely dropped. Now I've got Illumise, and I thought, well, Illumise has got Prankster, right? We can get the sub and then get the dub, right? Because hopefully I can pass that sub on to, like, say, Kricketune, right? Or maybe, you know, my Volbeat. So in comes Mascarin. I feel they're paying there about the stealth drop, and I've got the sub up. So I thought, oh wow, this might be if this has Bug Buzz, I'm sort of in a bit of trouble here. So I went for the Thunder Wave just in case they had Quiver Dance or something like that, and I thought, oh, they may even try and set their own sticky web up, you know. However, they're going to go for an Air Slash, so that's good that that's paralyzed, because any flying moves are very, very dangerous, you know, against this team. Speaking of Mascarin, you guys might see a little bit of Mascarin action coming up in this week in my videos. I'm going to be doing theme teams all the way to the release of Legends ZA as well. Just, you know, I want to spoil you guys with lots of videos up to then, because obviously I'll be taking a few days streaming that on the live. You know, on the like the actual date that it drops, I'll be doing a live stream there covering that game. I really don't know what I don't know really what I'm going to cover either. I might cover some of the battles and things like that, but it's not like traditional battles like this, so we'll see what happens. I'll do some sort of content and, you know, you see how it's going after a week and things like that. Anyway, Mascarin is going to faint, and yeah, so is Pineco. So in comes the Axu again into the Goat Illumise. Now, I thought this would be a pretty good opportunity to try and get a sub off here, because if they were intent on using Guillotine again, I might be able to get around that with Substitute, right? So first things first, I'm going to go for a Paralyze on the Axu. I thought that'd be a good idea. And Guillotine is going to miss. Thank goodness. That would have been very, very bad if that landed. Now, I've got Substitute here. I thought I'll go for that. My Illumise build. What Terra did I have on that? I had Terra Fairy. I felt like that was quite a good, you know, defensive one. Speaking of which, Axe is going to use a Dragon type move, and that's going to not break my sub. So I was like, I wonder EV spread they have. I mean, this Illumise I built was fairly bulky on the defensive side, though. So I think I would have lived that fairly well. Or they've got just a cheese set on their Axu with not much attack, because they did have Guillotine, so they might have had Sash or something like that. So I thought I'll go into Kricketune and see if we can tune up a little sweep here, right? So here comes the Outrage from the Axu on my Kricketune, and that's going to fade my sub straight away. Now, this Kricketune was the best sweeping set you can possibly have on it, and I say that pretty loosely, but this is a Fell Stinger sweeper, which works fairly well. The tricky bit is to get enough speed up, and of course to get the Fell Stinger KOs, right? In comes Guard of Fur. Okay, well, on guard, all right? Here we go. I've got my... Would you say Kricketune got like... What are they like? They're like little mini... They're like little scythes, right? We could have a duel. I could put a dual disc on Kricketune and then one on Iron Valium. So going for a fat Trailblaze there, getting my speed up. This is a Technician set. We got Lumberry as the item. Trailblaze, Fell Stinger, Brick Break, mainly for Steel-type Pokemon, and Sword Dance. Terra-type Stellar. We've got a nice little Hackmon coming in here, which is going to be an Ursaluna. And this is going to be fairly bulky here, a fairly bulky Pokemon. Now, I wanted to get a Fell Stinger off against the Gallade, but that's doing tons of damage here. I was like, ooh, what if I went for Stellar Fell Stinger right now? You know, that'd be cool, right? It's still neutral, and I'm going to get the initial bug boost as well. So this is just a Flame Orb Facade set, you know, that's given out. If you do get any .com Pokemon, just send them to the Shadow Realm, all right? Okay, here we go. We got that Stellar Kricketune. Only on PIMPNITE Shadow here. We're gonna try and get some. W's here. Don't ask me to do the Delhi Whoop thing. I can't do it. My voice doesn't exceed those, you know, those levels. So go for a Fell Stinger, and Ursaluna is gonna faint, which means I get a +3 instantly, a drastic boost in attack. So This thing is absolutely loaded up. Next Pokemon's going to be Zapdos. Now, Zapdos is going to get hit by this Stealth Rock I put down there. And since I've got a couple of Trailblazers up, I knew I could outspeed it. Then I was like, wait, I could go Fell Stinger again. You know, because it was Technician. You know, it was 50 base power. I was like, man, I mean, I've used my initial boost up already. But then the Zapdos went for Detect. I'm like, all right, well, you know, you could protect all you like there. I think you're going to faint regardless. At this stage, I think I might have been a +6. Wait, I did a Sword Dance, and then I went for a Brick Break. I wanted to use Brick Break, disrespect. So that's going to be the end of Zapdos there. I used some my hidden karate skills on that. We've got an Axu, we've got an Iron Valiant. Oh, it's another Hackmon. Oh, it's a Greninja. I was like, okay, this might have Water Shuriken or Quick Attack or Shadow Sneak. That's about the only way it's outspeeding the Cricket at this point. So I've got Trailblaze, I've got Fell Stinger. I thought, well, I haven't used Stellar yet. Stellar Trailblaze, so we'll give that one a shot. My only worry was it was Terra Poison. However, it was Terra Water. So this was either going to be Water Shuriken or they'll just go for like, stab water move there. Or that was the only Terra they had left. So going for Trailblaze, absolutely dumpstered. So Kricketune is sweeping through this team, easy peasy. We have got 2 more Pokemon left, which is really, really good too. So the last Pokemon, apart from Axe, I'm not really worried about Axu. It was more like the Iron Valiant. So Axu's going to take some little bit of Stealth Rock damage there. In fact, I don't really use Stealth Rock a lot, but I needed to on this team just because this team struggled for a lot of initial damage without stat boost. So I got another Fell Stinger there, and then they Salty Rage Quit. So that's the end of the second battle. Let's get some likes on the video, people. Tell me your favorite bug Pokemon. I love those Salty Rage Quits with my, you guys have seen how powerful this team is. It's absolutely incredible stuff. All right, battle number 3 here. We got another random one. This was a tough matchup. So we've got an Armorogue lead spamming Fire Blast. Like these are the sort of teams like that I verse people with. They'd set up Stealth Rocks first, and then I'd set up Stealth Rocks, and they'd be like rapid spinning away, going Terra Ghost and stuff like that. Like, bro, like, what's going on? So I've got my own Stealth Rocks here. I'd cast that berry on this too for either a priority Stealth Rock or Toxic Spikes, or sometimes an Explosion was actually pretty handy here too. So I'm going to say goodbye to my Pineco. They're going to go for Terra Blast here. So that's the end of Pineco. Not much I could have done there. Nothing I could swap into either. Absolutely not. So I was thinking, how do I get around this? I've got Spidops with Sucker Punch. I've got First Impression. I'd like Sticky Web as well, but I probably really need to go for Sucker Punch. So I went for Sucker Punch. Good damage. It wasn't a 2-hit KO, sadly. And they're going to use Armor Cannon. So, I mean, what can I do to this too? Like, what can I possibly do? So I'm getting completely countered at the moment. I can't swap into anything. I can't Terra. I can't do anything at the moment. It's very, very difficult. So I don't know why it had Armor Cannon and Fire Blast. I guess they see my bug team and they just, they chose Fire Blast. So we're going to bring in Nimble. Going for First Impression, desperately trying to feint this, and it didn't feint, which didn't surprise me. However, Nimble does have 1 HP with a Focus Sash. Now, if you look at this, I've already used up Pineco's Sturdy and Nimble's Focus Sash for counter, so I lost 2 really good Pokemon there. Well, 2 really good cheese strategies I could use against, like, Sweats, So that's 1 Pokemon down, and here we go. Here's Karada. So, first Armrogue, now Karada. I'm like how I don't know how much more of this my team can take, How much more can I squeeze out of this, this terrible team? So, we got some Stealth Rock damage there, which is about it. Now, Koraidon, I had First Impression. I thought, well, there's not much point swapping that out. I'll just do Sucker Punch for 1 damage, That's pretty much all I can do. Here comes a Flare Blitz, the desperation. So they took out they could have used Collision Course, but I like how they used Flare Blitz there. I guess since I've got a bug team, they got to go for that little Timmy Flare Blitz, right? They got to go for that Fireman. They got to set up 3 Sword Dances on my Nimble. So Koraidon's health is going down pretty quick, which is good, and I thought, wait, Illumise, right? Illumise was quite handy on a lot of these battles when someone would have a super effective fire move and I could sub down for a little bit. So I thought sub will be good because they'll expend health using Flare Blitz. And they also lose some health there to the Toxic Spike. I think this had Life Orb as well. I just want to see if it had Life Orb. Yeah, so it got the damage there. Yeah, it had Life... Wow, it was Life Orb Flare Blitz. Holy smoke. So Koraidon's health is going down real quick. It's going down faster than Nimble with no Focus Sash. And I keep setting sub up here. I actually thought they would swap out earlier because they had 4 other Pokemon in the back too. So it's not like they didn't have any Pokemon to swap in here that were, you know, 2 Pokemon, like 1 to 2 Pokemon were better than my entire team put together, right? And they didn't really have to do a lot either. So I guess they were really pressing this Illumise. So Koraidon is finally down to a last little bit of health here. I can go for a final substitute. I did actually contemplate trying to go for a Moonlight, but I thought, nah, I won't live it. Koraidon's just, you know, it's just too powerful Pokemon. So Illumise has defeated Koraidon only on PIMPNITE's channel, just using substitute, which is awesome. So that's good. I mean, that was 2 solid counters out of the way, but there were more left after that, which was not a surprise at all with all the weaknesses Bug has. Now, the next Pokemon here we got is Rotom Fridge. I was like, oh, this is really cool to see. I was actually happy to see this after seeing Armorogue and Koraidon. Now, I was at a little bit of a crossroads here. I'm like, man, what do I do? So I can't paralyze them. I could go for sub, but I think they're just going to attack me with like, you know, Thunderbolt or Volt Switch or something like that. Now, I thought I'll go Moonlight in the Sun, because that's going to give me tons and tons of health back, right? So I pretty much nearly got all my health back. They went for a Blizzard and landed. I'm like, bro, that was really lucky. So the Sun fades that turn, and I was getting pretty salty because they landed that one in the Sun. So like, all right, well, I'm going to go Moonlight until they miss, because what I want to do is I want to go for Moonlight, and then I want to swap this out, or at least get a substitute up. Then they went for Thunder. I'm like, man, I keep landing these attacks all the time. So it was pretty funny because what I was doing, I was like, okay, surely they're going to miss Thunder or Blizzard eventually, right? And then I'll have a chance of, you know, being able to pass the substitute off. They never missed a beat. Like I kept using Moonlight and they kept using Thunder, and they just never ever missed it all. I couldn't believe it, you know, as well as that salty Blizzard in the Sun too. So 3 Thunders, a Blizzard in the Sun, and then 3 Thunders back to back there. Hey, what can you do, right? I couldn't really swap into anything else either. So 2 more Pokemon left. I had Volbeat. Now, Volbeat was my best special attacker on my team. We got Tail Glow, Giga Drain, Bug Buzz with the Throat Spray, and Terra Blast Fire. I really needed Terra Blast Fire as more of a defensive and offensive too, because obviously Volbeat would get walled very easily by Steel types. So going for Terra Fire here. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, why did you put Throat Spray on a Tail Glow set? You know, you can use Tail Glow and twice and you're maxed out. That'd be a bit of a waste of an item. Sure, I agree with you. But a lot of the time you'll find with Volbeat, it's hard to get 1 Tail Glow, let alone 2. So I thought if I go Tail Glow and then I go Bug Buzz, I'll have +4. Rather than me trying to greed 2 of them and, you know, do no damage at all, right? That was kind of why I did that. Rotom Fridge is down. Great to see that being used. I like Rotom Fridge. Next Pokemon we got is going to be Garganacl. So this is another great counter to my team. The only thing I really truly had here was Giga Drain. I thought that's going to be the go, Giga Drain, but will it take it out? Unfortunately, sadly, it did not. If I took that out there, that would have really put a lot of pressure on my opponent. Sadly, they got an easy smackdown there and took out my Volbeat. So I'm down to 1 Pokemon. That was the KO I wanted to secure there. So I've got 1 last Pokemon, and that Pokemon, you know, I was confident I can maybe take a couple more out, right? Because Garganacl, luckily, had only a bit of health left. I thought, I've got to take this chancey now. I've got to go for Fell Stinger. So I unloaded the big Fell Stinger, took out the Garganacl, and I got a fat +3 in attack, which is great. But the thing about this is, it's not like there was like a sticky web up or I had speed boost. So in comes Dragonite. I thought, you might go for Terra Normal. So if I go for Brick Break, this will be absolute perfection. Because, you know, what can I do to them, right? I have to hope they'll go for a Terra, which I was pretty confident they might, because I could outspeed them too. So they went for Terra. Like, here it is, guys. Here's the Terra normal, perfect prediction, and they went for Terra Fire. I'm like, no. So yeah, it was bad because they went for I went for Brick Break, quality damage there, and they had a Rocky Helmet, and then they had Fire Blast on there. I was like, what the heck? So that was a direct counter as well. So I was laughing about that. That was pretty funny. So that is going to be the end of the Kricketune there to the Fire Blast Dragonite. Man, that takes me back to my noob days when I used to use Thunder, Fire Blast, and Blizzard Dragonite. Thank you, Tatsuya, for the battle. Another random person. If you did battle me in this video, let me know in the comments. I'd also like to know if I battled you in one of these videos. All right, we got our 4th battle today. I've got 6 battles with the Bug team in today's video. Hope you're enjoying it so far, people. Hit that like button if you haven't. That way you'll be able to see all my videos in your subscriptions. You won't have to hope and pray that YouTube, waves its special magical wand and puts it into your subscriptions for that day. All right, we got a Yanmega speed boost lead, and this was bad. I thought, I might be able to get around this, but then he used Ancient Power, right? And you wouldn't read about it. He got an Ancient Power boost 2 in 1. I'm like, come on. This wasn't even like the worst Pokemon on their team either. There was other like really good Pokemon against his Bug team. So like, what the heck am I even going to do? So I got the Toxic Spikes up, which was, which is good, I guess. I was trying to get a positive out of the negative. So Yanmega's going to outspeed every Pokemon on my team. So I thought, all right, I need to get some damage here. I did contemplate going for Terra Normal Explosion. I truly did, but I thought that might be a waste. Judging on the damage Explosion did, even a Terra Normal Explosion would not have taken Yanmega out. So I was happy with that result, except for the Ancient Power. Then they use U-turn. I'm like, wait, if they use U-turn, they would have lost their boost. I was like, what? So going to Spidops here, I was pretty salty at this point. So I had Sucker Punch. Let's go for Sucker Punch. As you can expect, it did absolutely monkeys. Here comes the Ancient Power. Now, the only thing about Spidops is, man, this Yanmega, I think it's more of a tanky set because I lived that Ancient Power a little bit too well, and then red card activated, which means that Yanmega is going to have to swap back into a Stealth Rocks, and that means it's going to faint, right? So that's really, really good. So in comes Ogerpon Wellspring. Now, Ogerpon Wellspring was sort of summing me up, versing all these Fire and Stealth Rock teams. Like that was my face, right, when I had to do this. So I just want to tell you, to get all of these battles in today's video, I did over 50 battles to get this content for you. So that was about, I added it all up, it was nearly 15 hours of raw footage, right? A lot of the battles I just had to dip out from because the opponents would just have like crazy overwhelming advantages, and then they, on top of those team advantages, they'd set up Stealth Rocks as well. I'm like, bro, like, it was absolutely insane. So I went through a lot of hard work to get today's content. I mean, I always do. I try to give you guys the most entertaining battles there. So I have to swap out here because I thought, Spidops wouldn't be a bad counter for Ogerpon because I've got that first impression, and since I've got max attack, it will be doing some sizable damage. So what I thought here is I might sub down a little bit against this and then try and do a swap. Then they went for a Sword Dance there. So Sword Dance is definitely bad for sure, but this gives me a good idea. So I thought if I can go for Baton Pass here, Baton Pass into Spidops. Spidops will take the fat Ivy Cug Girl to the leg or whatever, and then I'll come in and go bam, first impression, and take it out. That was the plan anyway. I just had to execute it, So swapping into Spidops, we got that substitute up. I don't know with Spidops, and then they used the healing move there. Yeah, then that really got me salty, right? I was like, no, they did that on purpose. No, they probably didn't, but if you know, you know, right? So they went for the healing move. I was like, all right, this is good. I've got Spidops behind a substitute. I've got the absolute GOAT. They're gonna put it to work. And Ogerpon got absolutely dumpstered by Spidops. That was awesome. So I actually kind of expected that to live. So like not well, but expected it to live. So that was really good. Next Pokemon is going to be Urshifu. So Urshifu's a little bit of a problem, but I was like, well, I've got Circle Throw. That'll actually be quite good. So Circle Throw is super effective. Not that it'll probably do much damage, but it'll phase out the Urshifu. So Urshifu had Aerial Ace. Like, oh, that's very bad against every Pokemon on my team. So Good thing I had the sub there. I definitely would have fainted. Also, I had Life Orb too. So that took Life Orb, and it took Stealth Rot, Life Orb, and Circle Throw damage. Great, right? I was like, man, this is actually, you know, I don't want to say too much here, but things are starting to look a little bit up. So we've got the Luxray sliding in here. I was like, is this got Intimidate, or is it going to have, like, Guts? And I didn't see Intimidate come up. I was like, yeah. And then it did. I was like, oh, I was like, my prayers were answered there, you know. So they dropped the Goat Spidops attack there. I was, you know, it's got such a good attack. I was like, no, I'm not going to swap out. I'll just tank whatever this is going to be. And it went for Volt Switch. I think what they expected there was for me to swap out with Intimidate, and then them to go for Volt Switch and get the appropriate matchup here. Now they had Wheezing. Wheezing was a huge, fat, ginormous counter to my team. Like, I was going over in my mind, I'm like, how can I possibly feint this? Like, it can't be poison. All of my physical moves are going to do donkeys. Even Kricketune would need, like, freaking 6+6 and Sword Dance to do anything. How am I going to get around this? Like, the only answer to this Wheezing is the Illumise, Volbeat, Dream Team combination, right? So first things first, I need to create a little bit of salt there. So getting up the Thunder Wave on the Wheezing was definitely appropriate. And then I thought I just need a little bit of luck there. So if I can get the Substitute up, then pass it, and then I can go into the Volbeat and set up a Tailwind, a Tail Glow behind the sub, right? So I set the sub up. Wheezing's gonna go for Toxic Spikes. I'm like, oh no. So this is bad too. So now, like, basically my sweeper, when I baton pass it in, is going to be on borrowed time, right? I mean, it's not like it's 2 layers though, but it still is 1 layer. The only good thing is, if you remember, my Volbeat did have Giga Drain. So say if my health is getting a little bit low, I could use Giga Drain, but I'd have to use it. I'd also have to use it, which probably isn't the greatest move against some of these Pokemon. So Volbeat is now going to get poisoned. Then they went for Toxic, and bro, they wanted me to get poisoned. So this again, Toxic Spikes and Toxic? What the heck? So Volbeat's going to get hit by the poison here. I'm going to go for that Tail Glow. And I wonder if they'll ever do anything with Volbeat and Illumise one day. Like, give them Megas or something. Like, Illumise especially, like, that is woefully, like, that needs something. At least Volbeat has got Prankster and Tail Glow, which is nice. I'll give it that. That's like its niche. But damn, Illumise. All right, we're going to go for a Tail Glow here. I thought I may as well load it up as many as possible. Now, I've got my only real answer to take this out is Terrified. Then they use Destiny Bond. It was a troll set. So they want me to, they're trying to sack their Wheezing off, and they want my Volbeat to go with them. So I thought, all right, this is beautiful. This is perfect. This is free real estate. I'm going to go for Giga Drain, go for a big suck, right? Get my health back, and that won't feint them, right? So they basically gave me free healing, which is good. And then I can feint them next turn because, that's not going to be the next move, it's going to be used, right? So we've got half the health here. Now, I thought for a second, well, Luxray I can beat. Urshifu I should be able to, like, the only thing that was worrying me is maybe, like, a priority move that would break my Substitute. That was about it. I still had my Illumise in the back there if I need to Thunder Wave anything, and I still had 2 other Pokemon left. So, I mean, to be fair, I only had a Nimble and Kricketune left, but they weren't too bad for, like, something. So, I went for that Terrifier on the Volbeat. And this is going to be my way to get rid of the Wheezing, right? I don't know if a Bug Buzz would have killed that. And I know I think I had +6, but I have a feeling that Wheezing still might have lived that. Not very well, but I feel like it would have lived that. Anyway, so we're going to roast the Wheezing and take that out, which is good. So I've got all the boosts now, and that Wheezing's out of the way too. And of course, they had a Miraidon as well. Miraidon was in virtually every single battle, which made it very tough because I could never ever outspeed Miraidon. Only if I had like a sticky web on the field, but even then sometimes it would still outspeed me. And I didn't really I had nothing for it to take it out. It's not like I had a Pokemon that could quickly and easily come in and use Earthquake or a ground move on it or anything like that. This was difficult. So generally I had to get some Stealth Rock damage, a bit of Toxic Spikes, a little bit of subbing, for damage run. So at this stage, I finally was able to outspeed the Miraidon, and I took it out with Bug Buzz there, which is excellent. So the Miraidon actually went Terra Dragon too, and they wasted their Terra there, which is awesome. So all that was left was the Luxray, Urshifu, and Yanmega. Yanmega couldn't swap in because it would just die to Stealth Rocks. And Luxray, well, Luxray's not going to really affect me anyway. So we got that Sticky Web. Not that Sticky Web would have mattered at all. Intimidate doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't affect me anyway because I'm behind a Subdued. And there's the cancel. So there you go. That's the end of the 4th battle there. I don't think they like Volbeat taking them a ride on out. I guess I can't blame them. All right, let's get on to battle number 5. This is another random battle. This one's against Lewis. We've got a Terrapagus lead. Okay, so first things first, we got Nimble. Now, this was a bit of a difficult situation. I thought, if Terrapagus uses a physical move, great, I can use counter, but I think it's going to be a special set because, mostly Terrapagus is a special set. So swapping into Pineco, we've got a Terra first turn. I'm like, all right, what are you going to have on here? Are they just going to use their signature move, or they got some sort of plan? At least they used their Terra right away, so I couldn't get any more type surprises, for the rest of the battle. I guess that's the only positive. So here comes the Terra Star Storm. Pineco I knew could take one hit, which is going to be good. I was hoping it would put it in custom range. I was like, okay, it's a special set, definitely. So I'm going to be able to lift that hit. Now, I had a bit of a decision here. I had Stealth Rock, Counter, or Explosion, or Toxic Spikes. I thought, Toxic Spikes is going to be useful. Stealth Rock is also going to be useful. Do I get some damage with Explosion? I was like, nah, I'm going to go for Stealth Rock. I feel like I looked at their entire team in the team preview, and that was the one I felt like was the best play. Then they used Zen Headbutt. I'm like, this is a mix set. So I had Terra Blast, Terra Starstorm, and Zen Headbutt. So it definitely was a mix set. So bye-bye Pineco. Going into Spidops now, I thought, well, I've got Red Card, and I've got Circle Throw, so I can go Circle Throw here. I'll get out Sped. They'll activate Red Card, and then I'll Circle Throw the next Pokemon with Stake Out. I could do that, or I could set up my own Sticky Web and try and, help with the speed gap with my Pokemon and stuff like that. So we're going to live that fairly easily from the Spidops. Red Card's going to activate and forcibly swap in the next Pokemon, which is going to be Deoxys. So it's funny, I got to see Deoxys twice. You don't get to see Deoxys very much. You don't really. Deoxys used to be the absolute powerhouse back in the day, but it got real power crept out of the game. Plus, it's paper thin defenses. Like, I always loved Deoxys, so it's my favorite mythical. It's such a beast. I love its forms too. All right, so we got a Hackmon Greninja coming in here. It's going to be forced out. It's going to take some pointed stones. I've got Circle Throw and I've got First Impression here. Well, obviously, I can't use First Impression, so I thought, well, I guess I can go for that. Greninja's going to go for a Rock Slide. It's like, oh, no! And thank goodness Rock Slide misses. Like, I had a couple of these Greninjas with Rock Slide that I came across. So, Circle Throw does quality damage there to the Greninja. Really, really good. And it wasn't quite enough to feint it with the incoming Stealth Rock, though. So, we got Ogerpon coming in. This time, it's going to be the Half Flame, so it's the fire one. As you can imagine, I was a little bit worried about this too, so I thought, all right, I'll go for Sucker Punch for some damage here. And then I noticed, right, this was actually a no restrictions battle, by the way. This was not even level 100, so it was like it was nearly level 80, but I felt like even at level 80, it could one-shot every Pokemon on my team because most of them were babies anyway and had terrible defenses. So like, oh, it doesn't matter whether this is level 78 or level 100, I have to finish it off now. So I went for the First Impression and that dropped it, which is really good. I had counter there anyway regardless. Next Pokemon's going to be Flygon. Now, Flygon, I thought, well, you probably use a physical move or something, and then they use a special Boom Burst set. I'm like, no! So I wasted my counter. I mean, I wasn't to know they were going to have a special set, so that really messed me up there. So I pretty much had nothing here. I had Sucker Punch here. Oh, this is also level 82. I was laughing at that too, because they had like all level 100s, and they had like 2 random level 82 Pokemon. I don't know. It's funny when you do a lot of battles online and people will pick the no restrictions rules. And it clearly says on there that all Pokemon will be their level. but then they do it straight off the bat. I don't know why it happens for. So anyway, I'm gonna bring in Kricketune here. I'm gonna blaze it with Trailblaze, and I got a speed boost there. I figured that I need 1 or 2 speed boosts to take out to outspeed the Flygon. Boom Burst is gonna do nothing, so this seems to be like a fully special set. So a couple of Trailblazers. I'm gonna take out the Fly. Oh, that's one Flygon, and that's down, right? So we've got 2 Pokemon. Is this a Korean? I think this is a Korean Lunala. Now this, I had Fell Stinger for, and I also broke its ability too with Fell Stinger. I had Stellar Fell Stinger to use against it. So I figured it'd be like a 1 to 2 hit KO on Kricketune. Like Krickatune's fairly good once it gets some attack boost up. The point is you got to get speed boost and attack boost up, and it's not a very bulky Pokemon either. That's like one of the main things, right? So Fell Stinger is going to absolutely annihilate it. I don't know if the level would have actually mattered there. It might have, but this thing was pretty juiced up. So I got a +3 in attack. Next Pokemon is going to be Greninja from earlier on. It's going to take some Stealth Rock damage. I was probably only worried about, Water Shuriken there. That's about it. I had Fell Stinger ready to go too, and they still outspeed me. So they're going to outspeed me. They got the Rock Sliders like, please live, and it didn't. So yeah, that's the end of my Kricketune. It tried its very best there. Now, I've got 2 more Pokemon left, and I've got to get rid of a Terrapagus, a Deoxys, and a Greninja. So I thought this is prime time to go into Illumise, right? We got to get the Illumise Volbeat combination going. So first things first, I'm going to go for the Prankster Thunderwave on the Greninja. We're going to make sure that gets it paralyzed, and I got it paralyzed first turn, which is really, really good. I know this thing has Rock Slide too, so I thought maybe I could keep going for Subdue until the Greninja gets paralyzed or maybe misses with Rock Slide. I got a fairly good chance there, so I waited and waited, and I got a miss. First turn, I was like, wow, that's good. That saved me using Substitute like another 200 times, right? So going for, actually, I would have lived a Rock Slide badly, I believe, from that. So swapping out with Baton Pass, and I now can go into Volbeat. I was hoping for a paralyze this turn or a miss for a free swap in so I could go Tail Glow, but that one unfortunately did not happen. So my Substitute is easily going to get broken there. I mean, Volbeat's got base defense is 75, so it's not very bulky. And then you've got like Nimble, which is base 40. Spidops is 92. I think Spidops is the best, it's like 92. And then Krickatune's like 51. And then Illumise is 75. So they were by no means bulky Pokemon, whatsoever. So we got the U-turn. Sorry, the Bug Buzz taking out the Greninja and getting myself a +1 in special attack, a much needed special attack boost. So Terrapagus is going to come in here. This was also level 85 too. It was like that was a crit. So that just shows you, honestly, that just shows you how much health that Terrapagus actually gets. It's insane. So its attacking move did like, I nearly sneezed there, sorry. I didn't want to leave a sneeze in the video, and I thought, I'll go for Tail Glow here. I can live 1 more, unless I get like critical hitted or something like that, which would be, very, very bad. Because, there was still a Deoxys in the back. So another Terra Star Storm, Volbeat barely lives that one. I've got Giga Drain, and I've got Bug Buzz. I thought, no, I'm just going to get rid of this with Bug Buzz. I don't want this to live for, whatever reason there. So that is the end of the multicolored turtle. Now, the last Pokemon was Deoxys. And Deoxys, the Twinkling Star. It had 1 health left, virtually like 1 health. And then it died. It was like, oh, it died. The Stealth Rock. So, that was the end of the battle there. And that is the end of battle number 15 of my random opponent, Lewis. All right, we got 1 more battle left here. Battle number 69 here. This is a random battle against Chance. If you're enjoying the video, people, hit that like button. Tell me what your favorite bug type is. I'd love to hear. I wonder what one is the most popular out of all of them. Put it below. Also, if you'd like to see me cover a theme team, put it below too. I have been trying to pick some out of the comment section as well, and all my suggestion rooms on Discord and stuff. So put it below. Go for it. Just maybe check out if I've done the team first or it's been a long time. I don't mind redoing teams as long as I haven't done them like a month or 2 ago. All right, so this was pure sweat. So we had a Volcro and a Fiery Dance lead. Oh, I want to say this too. I versed quite a few people No joke. They literally would set up they set up like 2 or 3 quiver dances turn 1 against like a Pineco or a Nimble. Like, no joke. Like, I had so many battles like that too. Like Volcarana setting up like 6 quiver dances and sweating it out. So anyway, I'm gonna go for Explosion. Volcarana just lives it. Very, very close. I was very, very close to that, taking that out. So I've got some options here. I thought, well, if I go into Spidops or Nimble, I can take that out. I risked Spidops because I thought, say worst case scenario here, I go for First Impression or Sucker Punch. I may get burned by Flame Body if they've got that. Most of the time it does have that. You know, it's a good ability on that. So Volcarana's going to faint, and of course, I got a burn handed to me, which sucks. So opponent getting very lucky there because this did sort of hamper my attacking abilities a lot. So we got the Annihilate coming in. This was a very good Pokemon as well because it was just so bulky. And I really didn't have a lot for this. I don't even think I had no Psychic moves. I had no Fairy moves. Dark moves were neutral against it. So they started setting up bulk ups against a burnt Spidops. I just went for Sticky Web here. I figured that, say they did swap out, it would be activating their Define ability if they had that later on. But I needed a bit of speed control here. I figured I'd hope they just go for attacking move and get ejected out of the matchup and lose their bulk ups. I pretty much had nothing for them. So obviously it's just going to be a typical Rage Fist set there. I just went for Sucker Punch for 2 damage, and they actually went for a Rage Fist, which obviously surprised everyone. So Rage Fist is going to land, but Spidops lives it pretty nicely, and my red card's going to activate, swapping them out. So that's good. At least that got rid of their bulk up boost there, and a little bit of Stealth Rock damage. So we had the Malamar coming in here. Now you're going to laugh, like, oh, it's a Malamar. It's 4 times weak to Bug, but they had Contrary and they had Sticky Web, so that actually gave them a speed boost there, which sucks. Now, a typical Malamar set will have something like Superpower, Terra Blast or Terra Starstorm, those sort of moves, right? Because they're very, very good on it. So I thought, gee, I don't know how I'm going to live this. They're sort of free to go for Superpower here. So I thought, I've got Nimble, and I've got Nimble with First Impression, so that's going to be useful, but it depends what they actually Terra into here, because it can be a few different Terras. So they're going to go for Terra Stella, which of course is Terra Starstorm, so, when they use Terra Blast, it'll increase the attack and special attack by 1 stage. I have done a sweep with this exact Pokemon too, if you do like Malamar. Alright, so Spidops is not going to stand a ghost of a chance. Absolutely not. So bye-bye Spidops. I have to get rid of this Pokemon now. This was really funny, right? So they got an attack boost here and a special attack boost. Now I was like, well, I've got Nimble. I guess I could bring that in. They also had leftovers on this as well. And yeah, that got pretty much deleted by the Toxic Spikes, right? So I swapped in Nimble. I thought, all right, I'm going to go First Impression here. They don't know that I've got that because I haven't used it yet. Then they swapped. I made a Stella +1 Malamar swap out with a Nimble. That made me laugh a lot. They were holding onto that Malamar like a newborn baby, right? And against a Nimble too. So they brought in their Tinkaton, which had an air balloon. I just went for First Impression, and obviously that didn't do a lot of damage. So Tinkaton can have Fake Out, so I was like, gee, I really need Focus Sash for that Malamar, because I know that it's going to bring it in and spam it, right? So I swapped out Nimble and went into Illumise. I thought that's not a bad effort because I can maybe be able to get some damage there with my item. So they went for Gigaton Hammer. Yeah, unfortunately they didn't go for what I thought they would, but I had to play it a little bit safe there. So since I couldn't poison them, I went for Thunder Wave, and of course Thunder Wave misses there. So I didn't really get the good luck in this battle. I can say that. So my Spidops got burnt and Thunder Wave missed there, which did actually matter a fair bit. So now I've got Nimble left. I thought, well, you're just going to go for Gigaton Hammer again. I'll just go for Counter, right? And that way I can get rid of Tinkaton. So here it comes, that bug. Oh, that bug got splattered there. It's like when you're driving along and it hit the windscreen. That's what Gigaton Hammer would have done to Nimble. Anyway, that is the end of Tinkaton. It's going to go chase some Corviknights in its dreams and stuff like that. We've got 4 Pokemon left. So I'm like, all right, here comes a Malamar. So now they know that I can't use First Impression because obviously you can only use that in the first turn. and they're free and easy to get a superpower or a Terra Blast. They don't have to work at all here, so I really needed my Nimble to actually feint this. Believe it or not, I had no answer to this apart from a 1 HP Nimble. That just shows you how bad this team actually was. So swapping into Kricketune, here comes the superpower, the Stellar superpower. They can increase their attack and defense with that. That still does a lot of damage to Kricketune as well. So Krickatune's already taken that damage. Was like, well, they're just gonna go Terra Blast now. They don't really have to work at all. They just can mash Superpower and Terra Blast, right? And I'm thinking maybe that toxic damage is doing pretty well. It's sort of doing a little bit more leftovers. Hopefully I can swap in Nimble and get rid of the Malamar afterwards. I mean, look at their team. They still have an Annihilate left and 2 other Pokemon as well. So I feel like they may take that risk. If not, I could try and chance a Leech Life with Swarm. That was really my only options here. So Malamar got its leftovers recovery, and then I had the toxic damage, which put it about half health there. So pretty much around what it already was. So this is a Swarm. First impression now, very, very powerful. They might think they'll be able to live it. I was hoping that. And I was really thinking about this. I was sort of thinking what they had left. I just went for it in the end, and Malamar stayed in and took it out. So that's good, At least I can, have a go at trying to feint the rest of the Pokemon. So it's funny how the only Pokemon that was 4 times weak to Bug was a good counter there. So Annihilate's gonna come in here. There's nothing really much I can do to this. I just have to sort of land attacks and do some damage through it. So they're going to get their little Defiant boost. I probably shouldn't have set up Sticky Web. I don't know, I possibly shouldn't have needed to do that, but I kind of wanted the speed advantage. So I went for Leech Life, and holy moly, that did nothing. That was a Swarm Adamant Leech Life, or Naughty Leech Life. They're just going to click Drain Punch and take Nimble out there. So that is the end of Nimble. Now, Rage Fist is now 100 base power because I've landed 1 attacking move against them as well. All that's left now is my Volbeat. Yeah, my Volbeat there. It's really enough. The other Pokemon they had on the team couldn't really swap into this Volbeat because I did have them sort of covered with ground moves. But to take them out, I needed to use Tail Glow. So I thought, I'll go Tail Glow here, but they're just going to press the A button and obviously win there. So a little bit of bad luck at the start of the battle there, but that's how it goes. Hope you guys enjoyed the Mono Bug team. If you did, drop a like there, leave me a comment, and I'll catch you tomorrow for another vid. Peace out.